Welcome back to another short video for y'all. We went over the type of baits we like to use, the type of leader we like to use, and so forth. However, we've been getting a lot of feedback on why we chose a double drop drum rig or a double drop leader to go fishing. The answer is simple. With two different styles of bait. One may be alive, one may be dead, or two different types of fish bites, one flavor and another flavor. And how I talked about on the other video, we always put shrimp on top, crab on the bottom. We'll change up the types of flavors it is, but it's always shrimp on top, crab on the bottom. There's another type of fish bite called sand flea that we like to use, and that will be our wild card. If we're having a lot of shrimp on top, we can also throw a sand flea on top, crab on the bottom. Well, a lot of crab on bottom, then we'll throw sand flea on the bottom and shrimp on top. That's the one color that has no other colors like it in the fish bite selections that we sell or use, so that makes it easier for you to remember what type of fish are hitting on that one. You'll see that some days your trout and redfish will hit on a specific color and flavor, while your drum and flounder or sheephead will hit on another type of flavor. But if you're using only one hook, then you're going to pretty much close the door on one style of fishing. Now granted, shrimp is like an all-around type of bait. You can catch everything on it. However, I'm more of an intentional type of fisherman. I want to go out and tell you, hey, we're going to target red, drum, flounder, and sheephead. Yes, byproduct will happen. It's fishing. You can't predict everything. But if you're more in tune with what you're using to what type of fish you're trying to target, that will increase your chances of being more productive on that style of fish or that species of fish you're trying to target. So with the double drops, using two different baits opens the door better or more productive fishing. Now, on the other thing, when choosing your leaders, you need to make sure when you test them that you give a good pull on them and that they're fully functional, that they move in a free floating fashion, that the beads will move around and stuff. Because there's times when this will be locked up and as you can tell, it won't move anywhere. You want it to be able to free float and free move on both the top and the bottom kind of deal. There you go. Now, the other thing is I've got close-ups of where the crimps are, and that's the other thing too. Paying attention to how they're crimped is very important, because if you don't know what to look for in a proper crimp or an improper crimp, that can also hurt you as well. You'll see that on these pictures, the uncrimped area versus the crimped area. That's a major portion on it. If your leaders are uncrimped, at the end of the day, yes, it is the store's responsibility from wherever you buy it, but then again too, when they're buying in mass production, those guys are coming in and throwing them up on the wall as quickly as possible. So at the end of the day, it's going to be up to you to check your leaders to make sure they are correct. The other thing is too, when checking your crimps, you need to make sure that even for monofilament, it's very important that you ensure, again in the picture is a close-up of a proper crimp and an improper crimp. If the crimps aren't crimped correctly, that can cost you dearly too, because it may look, oh, it's going to hold, but at the same time, it has reduced the strength or integrity of your line. So if it's crimped improperly, it can actually work against you and cost you losing a major catch. So make sure to inspect your checkpoints, all your crimps. When choosing a leader, you got to make sure that your snaps do not overlap or come too close. If they are too close like this, when you cast out, what ends up happening, your leader's flying through the air, and as the weight hits, it stops everything in motion. So these two snap swivels or hooked areas will end up catching each other, and they'll stay hooked up on the bottom. And as many of you know, you brought in leaders with your hooks are hooked up like this, and you don't catch any wasted time fishing. What we want to do is make sure to give the knowledge that check your areas, check your leader to make sure your snaps or hooks, if they're already attached, aren't close. They got to have at least a 2 to 3 inch gap between them to allow, if they have a hook, 1.5 to 2 inch gap. But if they have snaps, at least a 4 to 5 inch gap. And the reason for it is because that enables you to change up the style of hooks. Remembering how big your hooks are is very important when you're going to go and choose your leader. Because obviously it's not really recommended to sit there and open up hook bags or hooks in the middle of the shop, just throw them back on the shelf. So what I like to do is use my fingers. So when I'm at home, I can always, hey, you know what? It takes about two fingers for my hook size. This is a 7/0 circle. So when I'm checking my leaders at the store, if I don't have my hooks, I can sit there and say, you know what? There's 2 hooks right there, or that's 1 hook right there. And then add another 2 fingers and put it there. I got plenty of gap. So when you do put on your hooks, that way when this leader lands, it's less likely to have both your hooks hooked up like this. And that is a major reason why we choose to have a good gap on our leaders for the double drops. But at the same time too, we want to open the door to more variety of fish to catch. If you're using one style of bait, you're going to be pretty much targeting a smaller window of fish that are in the area. If you're using 2 types of bait on a leader, make sure that when they do land that they're not going to be catching each other, because you're not going to get any hits like that. Or the perch are going to nibble it to death while the big fish are sitting back because they have not been fooled by the leader. So here's a little bit more info for you of us breaking down the leaders again. We're going to go even further on our next video of different types of leaders, different style of weights, and even more knots. Please subscribe to our channel. Hope you've enjoyed, and if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please give us a shout out below in the comment, and then we can address them in a future video and or right then and there in a comment. We do appreciate y'all's time and for checking us out. Y'all have a good one and good luck out there.